Alright, so I think it would be useful to start off with the timeline. So global culture, Cholaman culture, create Anki deck. Wasn't it like this? No, it was this one, right? And then it was prompt. I think yeah, I already made one. So what is the time period associated with global culture? What are the key characteristics? Notable for advanced pottery, agriculture, social, and organization. This is not actually true, though, is it? What is the culture located in the region of modern day Korea? I think this question is fine to reuse. Okay. So let's get this here. Put that there. Then can do 4000 BCE. So this is a good card. Okay, let's create a deck. Deck 만들기. Okay, let's 한국 역사 모하. Okay. 한국 어딘가. Let's put it 여기 넣을 거예요. Okay. And then 맞춤 option 설명 추가 add. Okay. So what time is this? What is the time associated? What is the time period associated with the global culture? So we can do that. 추가. Then we can do the same with this. Change this to 3000 and then put that here. Don't need culture. Could probably get AI to create this. Okay. Okay, that one's made. Same with this one. Oh. What was the time period? 2000 BCE. So 여기 둘까? Does this work though? Would this work the other way around though? So this is 5000. Oh, 4000, right? This is 3000 German. 2000 Gopo 3000 BCE. German culture. German. Okay. 4000 BCE. Golpo. 3000. 2000. German. Golpo. Golpo. What is the time associated with this 2000? This 4000 is Golpo. 2000. Okay, so that's fine. So old Joseon. That was 300. 300. Okay. Okay. So now the Chinese Han colonials. So 100. I can put that there. BC to 300 CE. What is CE? BCE. Before Common Era. Okay. And I guess CE is Common Era. Okay, that makes sense. So we can put this here. Maybe I should change this deck to, instead of making it general, make this a timeline. Yeah. In timeline, what was the Korean word for that? Wasn't it Pyeong? I think. 이름 배경 과목 한국 역사 표 wasn't it 펴면? I swear. Ah. Nah. Timeline anchor. 시간표 아닌가? Oh, I think I'm thinking of the word chronological, not actually timeline. 연표, 연대표. Ah, okay. 연대기. Okay, 연대기. Let me add this word. Again. Let's just add this word in here. Time. Okay. So did we create this deck? I don't think we did, right? Yeah, we put it in here, but we didn't create it. Alright. What is the time period associated with the 100 Chinese Han colonials? So it was 100 BCE to 313 CE. Okay. Han colonials, 100 Han colonials. Okay. And then we've got the three kingdoms. So from 50 BCE to 668 CE, the three kingdoms. Shilla, Goryeo, and Pekche. United Shilla, later Three Kingdom, Mongolian domination, Goryeo dynasty, Joseon dynasty. Reign of King Sejong, Imin Wars, reign of Yongjo and Cheongjo, 2 centuries of peace. Okay. So Shilla, Unite Shilla, later Three Kingdoms, Mongolian. Okay. Right. So Three Kingdoms. Let me make myself a little bit bigger. I think that's cool. Okay. Goryeo picture. Okay. Add that. What were the Three Kingdoms during the 50 BCE to 668 CE era? So there was Shilla, Go. Wait, I can't spell. Goryeo. And what was it? Picture. I think that's fine. Add that. So Kaya, and put that. Wait, 7 CE to 562. Eight, 936. Okay. Later Three Kingdoms. So that one's 890 to 936. Put that with the later Three Kingdoms. So 8, 9 to 9, 9. Okay. So Mongol domination. Well, that's interesting. The the Goryeo dynasty was under Mongol domination because the years overlap here. Alright. Um, 18. This would be Joseon. Year for what were what was the year range for what was the actually I'll just what is the time associated with King Sejong's reign? So 1418 to 1450 to okay, copy this.
Korean history starts with Dangun, the legendary founder of Go-Joseon, the first ever Korean kingdom. It's a story of myths and legends that give us a glimpse in the history and folklore of Korea. The legend is the first story in the Samguk Yusa, the memorabilia of the Three Kingdoms, which was written in the 13th century. The legend goes that Hwan-in, the king of heaven, was asked by one of his younger sons, Hwan-ung, to send him to earth to rule his own land. Hwan-in looked at the mountains of earth and chose Mount Taebaek, which means Grand White Mountain. Taebaek Mountain is the ancient name of present-day Paekdu Mountain in North Korea. I'm not talking about the Mount Taebaek in South Korea in this legend. The King of Heaven opened heaven and sent his son down to earth for the sake of humanity. Hwanung descended to earth with 3,000 followers and 3 heavenly seals of authority or treasures. He established a sacred city near sacred sandalwood on the peak of Taebaek Mountain. The sacred city was called Shinchi, or Spirit City. Amongst his 3,000 followers were the Master of Wind, the Master of Rain, and the Master of Clouds. Hwanung designated them as his ministers, and a government was established with 360 departments or elements of life to rule with laws and moral codes. Some of these departments were hunting, fishing, medicine, education, the arts, agriculture, determination of good and evil, and so on. These elements of life were basically gifts that Hwanung gave to humanity. One day, a she-bear and a tiger came to see Hwanung and begged him to become human beings. Hwanung gave them a chance and agreed to their demands on 2 conditions: that they ate only mugwort and 20 garlic bulbs, both considered sacred food, and he told them that they have to stay in a cave for 100 days. The tiger couldn't do it and left. The bear stayed in the cave and, after 21 days only, was transformed into a woman. The former she-bear, now called Ungyo, was very happy and grateful, but she felt lonely and wanted a child. She went to the sacred sandalwood tree on the peak of Mount Taebaek and prayed for a child. Hwanung was moved by her prayers and offerings and transformed himself into a male human and mated with her. 9 months later, she gave birth to a son, Dangun. His name means altar prince or sandalwood. Legend has it that Dangun founded the first Korean kingdom, Go-Joseon, or Ancient Joseon. It's believed to have been established on October 3rd in the year 2333 BC. Its capital was near what is now Pyongyang in North Korea. Dangun later moved the capital to Asadal, which was on present-day Mount Guol in Hwanghae Province in present-day North Korea. Dangun ruled over his country for 1,500 years. Dangun abdicated and later retreated to the mountains, becoming a Sanshin, mountain spirit, at the venerable age of 1,908 years old. October 3rd is National Foundation Day in South Korea, called Gechonjol. Stay tuned for more on Korean history. Today I'll be talking about Gija or Jizu. In my research about Dangun, I stumbled upon his name and I thought he was important to Korean history. It didn't take me too long to discover that in modern day Korea, he's just a footnote in history books. This made me curious, and I decided to explore the reasons why. Gija is a semi-legendary Chinese sage who is said to have ruled Gija Joseon in the 11th century BC. He is believed to be a relative of the last king of the Chinese Shang dynasty. Chinese texts from the Han dynasty claim that King Wu of Zhao gave Gija the land of Joseon, which is in the northwestern part of Korea, as a favor for giving him advice. In Korean history, his first mention was in the Samguk Sagi, but even then, it wasn't clear if he was actually given the land of Joseon. In the Samguk Yusa, a 13th century Korean collection of legends, Gija is mentioned again as the ruler of Go-Joseon, replacing Dangun's descendants. After the establishment of the Joseon dynasty in 1392, Gija became an integral part of Korean history, and the Joseon dynasty promoted him as a cultural hero who helped raise Korean civilization at the same level as China. The reason for this is that Joseon's state ideology was Neo-Confucianism, which was borrowed from China. The scholar Yi Yi compiled the Gija Shilgi in the 16th century. Yi praised Gija for introducing agriculture, sericulture, decorum, ceremony, and Chinese cultural elements to Joseon. Basically, at that point in time, Gija was credited with bringing civilization to Korea. With the rise of Korean nationalism in the early 20th century, Gija's importance in Korean history was put back in question. Korean historians like Shin Che-ho and Che Nam-son were on the forefront of this re-evaluation of Gija's history. They argue that Gija's legend had been an invention of the Han dynasty at a time when Chinese started to occupy a part of Joseon. Gija was a vassal of the then kings of Buyo in the late 2nd century BC in present-day Jilin province in Manchuria. For Shin Che-ho, Gija was a foreigner that didn't belong in the history of the Korean Minjok, the Korean word for the Korean race, and thus Gija wasn't a descendant of Dangun. During those hard times, Korea needed a strong identity to be able to live up to the hardships and challenges of Japanese colonialism as well as post-colonialism. It would be difficult to build a nation and sense of identity in a modern world if the earliest history of a said nation is of foreign sources or its historicity unclear. As you can see, Gija is a controversial figure in Korea. His importance in modern Korean society is minimal or just a footnote, but he was, for a long period of time, a very important figure during the Goryeo and Joseon dynasties. Many discrepancies, contradictory accounts, and modern archaeology make it difficult to prove the ancient history of Gija. He was, most probably, a real person, but his life and achievements can't be proven without a doubt. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next episode on Korean history. Today we'll look at the life and legend of King Dongmyong, also known by his birth name Jumong. His name literally means Holy King of the East. He's the founder of the kingdom of Goguryeo, which was part of the three kingdoms of Korea that spawned a period defined as being from 57 BC to 668 AD. Goguryeo was the northernmost kingdom. The other two were Shilla and Baekje. Goguryeo was the being from 57 BC to to 668 AD. Goguryeo was the northernmost kingdom. The other two were Shilla and Baekje. Interestingly enough, there was also a fourth kingdom called Gaya. King Dongmyong is also called King Chumo in the Gwangae-to stele, which was found in present-day Jilin province in China, where the capital of Goguryeo was at the time. Dongmyong's birth is stuff of legend. In the Samguk Sagi, a historical record of the three kingdoms of Korea, written in the 12th century, it is said that the Goguryeo royal family claimed descent from the mythical god Gao Yang, who was the grandson of the Yellow Emperor of Chinese mythology. For that reason, the Goguryeo royals adopted the surname Go. One meaning of Go is son in Korea, as Buyo, Goguryeo, and Baekje were deeply involved in sun worship. According to the Samguk Sagi, Jumong's father is said to be Hemosu, the founder of the kingdom of Buyo. Hemosu, according to the Samguk Sagi, was the son of heaven who descended to earth riding a chariot of 5 dragons to establish the kingdom of Buyo. Hemosu also carried the dragon light sword on his waist. This is stuff of legend. Well, like father like son, because Jumong's birth is quite a story. Legend has it that Dongmyong is born to Hemosu and Lady Yuhua. Hemosu encounters Hebek's 3 daughters by the waters of Ungshim Pond. He forces Lady Yuhua into intimacy after getting her and her 2 sisters drunk. Hearing this, Hebek, the god of the river, is furious and challenges Hemosu to a duel to see if Hemosu is really the son of the celestial emperor. A metamorphosis duel ensues in which Hebek transforms into a carp, a deer, and a pheasant. To counter these, Hemosu transforms into an otter, a wild dog, and a hawk, winning every duel. Hebek has to consent to their wedding. For some reason, Hebek gets worried that Hemosu might leave Yuhua behind, so Hebek gets Hemosu drunk and puts him and his daughter in a leather cart, which is then loaded onto a dragon carriage. Hemosu wakes up from his drunken stupor and escapes from the carriage using Yuhua's golden hairpin to cut a hole, then goes back to heaven. Hebek is furious once more because his daughter has brought dishonor to the family. He pulls out her lips until they hang a meter long and abandons her on the shore of Ubalsu. This is definitely had to Yumhua forced to leave east